Impacted your identity?
At that young age, there was never a place that I felt I belonged. It was education that saved me. I've been a teacher for 11 years, and as you're chasing that dream, you realize you start losing things in the process. The time you have left is less than the time you've lived. It's a very powerful thing. I had the confidence of being raised in America, then I had the cultural grounding that my parents gave me.
After 53 years,
I didn't quite fit in the family I was living in. My current salary is a six-figure salary. You cannot have that timid nature and go out into global society because you'll be eaten alive. There's so many opportunities.
you need to go to the Ministry of Education. We only live once. What legacy do you want to leave?
When I tell you guys that the country Ghana is on another level when it comes to their culture, their pride, their tradition, I now understand why they are one of the countries that are in Africa who are internationally recognized. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another episode right here. And thank you for tuning in. Today, we are on another level, a different style, a different kind and pattern of videos, which is going to show us how Ghana has taken over Canada, as well as, yes, a very interesting conversation on a podcast that I found very educative, expository, and entertaining of where is best to bring up Ghana children. Is it in Africa or in the US or in the Europe? So these ladies went in depthly to expose a lot to us. So guys, stay glued to this channel because a lot is about to go down. And please do not forget to hit on the like button, share this video, and please, for my sake, watch patiently till the end. Exactly. And I will see you at the end of this video.
Impacted your identity?
At that young age, there was never a place that I felt I belonged. It was education that saved me. I've been a teacher for 11 years, and as you're chasing that dream, you realize you start losing things in the process. The time you have left is less than the time you've lived. It's a very powerful thing. I had the confidence of being raised in America, then I had the cultural grounding that my parents gave me.
After 53 years,
I didn't quite fit in the family I was living in. My current salary is a six-figure salary. You cannot have that timid nature and go out into global society because you'll be eaten alive. There's so many opportunities.
you need to go to the Ministry of Education. We only live once. What legacy do you want to leave? Jacqueline, you moved to the US at the age of 5. Similar to me when I moved from Ghana to the UK at the age of 5.
Wow.
What do you remember and how do you think that has impacted your identity?
Very good question. In fact, it caused me to grow up to be a child who kind of felt lost. There was never a place that I felt I belonged. When I was in the US, you behave like you're too African. Then when I come to Ghana, you're too American. I left when I was 5. In the early 70s, the idea of an African person being around wasn't common. So I became an oddity. You know, why do you speak like that? You know, what kind of food do you eat? Do you live on trees?
Oh my goodness.
You know, do you have a tail? Do you have hospitals? You know, questions.
What?
And they weren't just from the children. It was more out of curiosity, a lack of knowing. Nowadays with social media, that really wouldn't be the case because social media has really shown the world what's really happening in Africa, the truth. But in those days, I was an oddity. And because I wasn't understood, I kept to myself.
Okay.
Very, very quiet. I got good grades in school, but I was very, very quiet, very introspective. I did a lot of watching and reading and, you know, formulating my own reality in my head. Right. So people sometimes would accuse me, oh, she's mean, she's not friendly. No, I was just being a very thoughtful child, trying to find her own way.
Right.
And I didn't quite understand who I was until I came to Ghana in 1988, since 72. Something happened in me. It was like, wait a minute, this is where I belong. I was 21 at the time, so I was away for 16 years. Right. And I was like, no, I need more of this. I need to find a way back. What stopped me were my relatives. Why do you want to come back to Ghana for? We tried to go to America, you want to come back here? The suffering, you know, all the things they had to say because they had a perspective of what it was like to live in the US. Because, you know, the grass is always greener, right?
Of course.
Yes, but they don't understand that there were certain things that you give up in America. Yes, you are well compensated in terms of salary-wise, but what do you lose in return?
Your time.
Yes, and time is a non-renewable resource. You don't get it back. From that point in time, it took me almost 30 years later to have the courage to say, I don't need to explain to anyone why I want to come back. I know I want to come back. And watching someone like you talk about Ghana in a very unapologetic way, that kind of motivated me and made me feel like, you know what, I can do this. So I plan on like taking early retirement in a few years, and I have a lot of plans for Ghana. Fantastic. Yes, I'm excited.
So let's go a little bit back. Growing up as a Ghanaian child in the US at that time, I know you mentioned a few bits, but what was that journey like?
It was a very lonely journey. I was living in the US with my mother, my stepfather, and my two sisters. I didn't quite fit in the family I was living in. It wasn't until I reunited with my father and then met his side of the family that I began to realize, wait a minute, I'm more like them than I am like the family I grew up in. Now, the family I grew up in, don't get me wrong, I love my mother, my stepfather, my sisters, but I just felt like I was missing something. What I learned from my mother and my stepfather is hard work. And then my mother, she was a teacher in Ghana before she immigrated to the US. And being that we didn't have Ghanaian people, other than family members that may have lived in other boroughs, my mother kept us very close-knit. So I really didn't go outside to play much and things like that. And if I had a friend had to come over, they had to come over to our house. My mother didn't want us to go to their house. So I became very close with my sisters, but I didn't have any real outside bonding. So it was a very lonely existence in the sense that there was something that I was missing, but I just didn't know what it was.
In America, they always talk about the American dream. How has that impacted you in terms of, you know, this American dream and this African dream that you have?
The American dream is a real thing, but you also get on the American hamster wheel. And as you're chasing that dream, you realize you start losing things in the process because you're working to pay bills. I was joking to someone, I've been here since June, yet I got a text, water bill is due, but there's nobody in the house running water. But you're paying for the infrastructure. You're paying for the fact that there's water available to your house if you need it. If you don't need it, it's still going to charge you for having it available. And I grew up very early understanding that material things in the end don't count. So what I did a lot was I infused a lot of things within me. And it was education that saved me. Wherever education was going to take me at that young age, I didn't know. But I knew that was what was going to save me and take me out of that rat race, as they call it. Even if you were born in America, it doesn't mean if the environment is not conducive to what your soul yearns for, then it's not the place for you. America has been very good to me, has given me the courage that I need. If I grew up in Ghana, maybe I wouldn't have had that level of courage. So I had the confidence of being raised in America, and then I had the cultural grounding my parents gave me.
So what does home mean to you now? Is it Ghana or is it the US?
It's Ghana. In fact, if you tell me to travel somewhere else, I'd be like, what for? I'm going to Ghana.
Wow.
One time my son and I took a bus ride to upstate New York. It was 7 hours. I said, wait a minute, 3 more hours I'll be in Ghana. What am I doing? Everything is Ghana, Ghana, Ghana. And I'm so grateful that my son has a love for Ghana as well.
That's good. Were you intentional about that?
Yes, I was.
With your son?
Yes.
What did you do to make him also love where you're from?
Told him stories of what I could remember when I was in Ghana as a small child. I let him also know the difficulties that I experienced in America, so that if he were to experience the same difficulties, he wouldn't feel isolated or alone, because we're very similar in character. And from the time he was 3, he's been coming to Ghana. And of course, at home, I cook Ghanaian food, play Ghanaian music. So right now, he's a housing advocate, but he's also a part-time DJ. And his DJ handle is kweku.nyc, and he plays Ghanaian music.
Tell us about the creation of Mama Brew's classroom.
As a career change, I went from doing human resource work to getting to education. And I've been a teacher for 11 years and then assistant principal for 4 years. And I'm starting as a director of curriculum specialist at my school. I've been with the same school for 15 years. During that time, I saw the need for the type of education that children like me needed, because they may be different in the way they do things. Because sometimes education is one size fits all. So I created this website, Mama Brew's Classroom, to give resources to teachers. And what really motivated me was because I planned in 2 years to come to Ghana. I bought some land in Suhum, and I'm going to build an early childhood education center. Because one thing I noticed about Ghanaian children, they're too timid. And if we are going to make them 21st century learners or global citizens, you cannot have that timid nature and go out into global society, because you'll be eaten alive. So what I want to infuse in the children at my school is the courage that I gained from being raised in America, the cultural grounding of Ghana, combining the two, culture and courage. Those kids in my school will be unstoppable.
My goodness, I love that. When you put a 5-year-old child from the US or UK next to a 5-year-old Ghanaian child, you can see that. You can see the difference in terms of confidence, where the UK or the US will be outspoken, asks a lot of questions, even though the young Ghanaian child has all the questions in them, but they're just scared. How do we develop our own African dream?
Well, I feel to develop the African dream, it starts with education. Education is a very powerful thing, and it's something that every child, no matter what economic level they're born into, should have access to a quality one. When I did a lot of surveying of the needs of educational situations in Ghana, it landed on two things: teacher training and availability of resources. So my website has resources for sale. However, I also have free resources.
Okay.
And even the ones that are for sale, I was telling one of the teachers at the conference that I just attended, I gave away some free resources to the teachers, because when I went to schools and I see what they're using in the classroom, they're making the best of what they have. And I have to respect that. They're not working from a place of lack, right? But I think we need to give them better. And I said, go onto my website. If you can, print it out. That's fine. The directions are there. Create your own and use my directions to facilitate the instruction.
You need to go to the Ministry of Education. Yeah, you do. And you need to hand them a proposal.
Nice. Okay.
And say, I'm a Ghanaian.
You're right.
This is what I've learned. And this is where I think that Ghana can benefit from.
Yes.
And hand those proposals. Because Jacqueline, you have learned so much. What you're saying is true.
Yes.
Okay. And so you coming back, giving back those skills and that knowledge is vital for the development of Ghana.
I appreciate that. I do, because what motivated me also is I created my own original framework of how to address the needs of children in general, but Ghanaian or African children in particular. And it starts with being culturally responsive to their needs. And culturally responsive is not, because this person comes from this area, they need this. I'm looking at it from the lens of the child, the individual child is their own culture. You have two children in a home, they don't need the same thing. Once you build a relationship with the children in your class and understand how they learn, what they like to learn, what their interests are, have conversations, once that relationship is solidified, there's nothing that child won't do in terms of learning for you. And I think that's crucial. And then you bring the parents on board. Let the parents understand what you want to do for their child. Because I know parents have the dream of the world for their child, but sometimes they don't know how to get to that point.
Myself and my husband were talking about how we have 4 kids, they eat the same food, they're brought up the same, but they're all different.
Yes.
They learn differently. And so you're right, it's about tailoring what that person likes and how they learn.
Yes.
Like my daughter, she is not academic, but she has other skills. And so then you develop those other skills for them to be able to learn. You can go to other schools around to provide them these services.
Yeah, listen,
right?
2 weeks ago I came here and I was given the help to apply for educational consultant business. So my educational consultant business is Nyan Sao Paul Educational Consultants. That's supposed to like wisdom. Wisdom, not right. Because we are going to ground the consultancy or the teaching with wisdom. I believe that a lot of the solutions to our problems are embedded in our Adinkra symbols because they are the answer to everything. Right? I'm very big on Anansi stories because even though Kweku Anansi may seem like a negative character, you can learn from his mistakes and then even use as a learning tool for children. He did this, what could he have done better? Because Ghanaian children also, they weren't taught how to think critically. You ask a child, what is your favorite fruit? They may say mango. Then you ask them, why? Then the conversation is lost. They can't tell you why.
Yeah, it's true.
But they must be able to, because if you can't explain why you like this, then how can they engage in deeper, more meaningful discussions? Yes.
You're absolutely right. Ooh, I love it. Hey, the schools are calling. I know they're calling.
Listen, I'm ready to work with the teacher training councils. Yes, to train teachers. I am very passionate about that because if you don't give the teachers self-efficacy, the belief in their skills, how can they in turn give children the belief in themselves? Yes.
So how do we bridge that cultural gap when it comes to teaching and diverse students?
Well, one of the first things I would suggest any teacher to do is that when you have your classroom, I know you may have 30 kids, some people have 60, 70, take the time to get to know your children. What do you like? How do you want to learn? You know, what interests you? What do you find difficult? And give those same surveys to the parents. Let the parents tell you what their hopes and dreams are for their child. And then tell the parent, well, I'm going to help you realize this, but I need your help on board. And the kids need resources. They need teachers to be trained. Because if the teacher's not receiving the proper training, they don't realize that what they're doing is not as impactful as it can be. Don't talk about things in a curriculum that the child has never seen or heard of. Don't do things to devalue what they see and what they've heard of. Infuse their cultural knowledge and understanding in the curriculum. That's crucial. Yes.
How often in the US do they change the curriculum?
Oh, probably every 5 years. A lot of the things is based upon not what is new and improved, it's what's new and approved.
Wow.
So the changes are made under the guise of this is better. But then you realize that there was nothing wrong with what we had before. Just a simple tweak, but you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater and then start all over again, even though the intentions are good. So I'm a firm believer in teaching children, especially in the younger years, the basics.
Okay.
Because when you have the basics, from there you can build on. Because any building that the foundation is not solid, it will fall. It will fall, yeah.
So if you had a choice, where do you think children should be raised? Should they be raised in the UK? Should they be raised in the US or Ghana?
That's a tough question. I'm a little biased on that because there's elements of the US that I experienced that I don't regret.
Okay.
And I think it was that experience that let me value what Ghana has to offer. You know, everybody has what their soul needs and what the soul desires, right? I wish I had raised my son in Ghana. Okay. I wish I had the opportunity. If I could go back, I would have. Okay. You know, that's like a personal choice.
For me, I wanted my children to be connected to Ghana.
Yes.
To have friends in Ghana.
Exactly.
Because one of the things that I lacked, we moved out when we were 5, and so I didn't have friends here. Yeah. And I've seen that a lot of people come back and they've got like friends in banks and friends in different places, and I'm just like, oh, I want that for my children, where you can just pick up a call and just say, Charlie, and they'll be like, Charlie, come. You know, just having that. And I think it's also good for them to be grounded in terms of their culture, their heritage, and where they're from.
Yes.
What advice would you give to diasporans who are thinking of relocating to Ghana?
I would say that outline your goals and take measured, meaningful steps towards the goal. If you put yourself on a timeline, it can get a little bit scary. Once you decide this is what you want to do, then plan backwards. Okay. Picture yourself in Ghana and then plan backwards as to how you're going to get there. Okay. You know, if you have children, you have to consider the education, you know, find a good school. Like with my son, I wanted him to finish middle school in the US and come to Ghana for high school and then college, but it didn't work out that way. So depending on the time in your life that you are, and then also the job that you have, if it's a job that can transfer the skills here, by all means look into that. And I believe that, and I think you said it many, many times, that Ghana is technically a young country. And there's so many problems that you are the one who has the solution for. Absolutely. So look at it from that. Don't look at it from the lens of negative or lack, but look at it as there's so many opportunities that you can now infuse yourself in and help solve. Yes.
Charlie, Ghana has won once again. This time it is in Toronto, Canada. And I brought you this particular story last year, I think. And finally, the name has been changed. Young and Danda Square in Toronto, Canada has been changed to Sankofa Square. And Charlie, it is so beautiful. The occasion that was held, you could see Ghanaians rocking their kente. And Charlie, it was so beautiful. Jifa Gomashi was there, the Minister for Tourism. She was there, and I think some other dignitaries too. Charlie, it's so beautiful. And also what some Canadians are doing, what are saying about this particular name change. Let's go into the video, watch, come back and talk.
Mijina Toronto, Canada. Na machia, and I was paid your friend Danda Square. Na sa Danda Square yede to Opeyi I of Scotland. Na a bass ye slave trade everyone on Opeyi Ampanis. And Chepi, and I Toronto paying for a cast baby. It be Massa a Dewey, and that's our squeeze. So Mokamuti Pampono, a dear, Omdi Ebabetuno, a friend of Sankofa Square. Sankofa the Yain, a Dinkasimbo, Sankofa the Yain, if we Ghana, and they say Toronto, a fluma pair, and as I say, you all are there your friend of Sankofa Square. And what do you?
Na se bibi wo achi a wasa wachi akwa akọfa na aboa ama wadi ye ama aboa dache ma na waye ne saa enti na se Sankofa enti Sankofa no eye adinkra ahyansode ya ye nananom ye ya wo mo nwi sansem no eye ohye ene oye asem ya ni na se kire se bibi pa bia wo achi no ko wachi na kofa bra emprempren na mmoa mpremprenfoɔ ne daakye akyirima na Sankofa ntie nananom ɛka saa asɛm no ɛno no medam ase.
Sankofa, oh say yeah. Sankofa, oh yeah. Sankofa.
And now to Juliet and Mr. Quay, you guys can now bring the team here to the stage. To Juliet.
Ghana, oh say yeah. Sankofa, oh say yeah.
Yo, peace and love, everyone. It's Neil Logic, the digital griot here, and I just wanted to take a moment to share with you what went down this morning. A truly historic day for our city. Today marks the official launch of Sankofa Square, formerly Dundas Square. Now, this isn't just a name change, this is a cultural shift. Sankofa is a Ghanaian word meaning go back and fetch it, reminding us to look at the past in order to move forward with wisdom, healing, and strength. The whole square came alive. I'm telling you, we had ancestral drumming, indigenous and African blessings, and community markets. Now, this celebration continues all day, right up until 11 p.m. with music, food, dance, and pure good vibes, man. And the best part, it's all free and open to the community. So for me, standing in the square, renamed through community voices and resilience, was powerful. Let's get it. Sankofa, Toronto, you don't know. Blah.
Your own thing, an African culture display, food in display. You can't get better than this. So if you got the influence also involved in it. Dondo! All love. Amazing.
This is Sankofa Square, right? No. And all my people from Ghana came out and represented today, right?
Toronto's biggest tourist attraction is about to open with a new name. August 23rd marks the opening of the former Yonge Dundas Square, officially changing its name to Sankofa Square. The all-day event will include Indigenous and African ancestral ceremonies to open the new square, as well as DJ sets and other live performances.
Big changes are coming to Yonge and Dundas Square. Starting August 23rd, the city's busiest public plaza will officially reopen as Sankofa Square. The new name comes with a fresh identity, new programming, and a full day of free cultural celebration, including Indigenous and African ceremonies, DJ sets, art shows, and film screenings. It also marks Sankofa Day, honoring the remembrance of the slave trade and its abolition. It's a bold rebrand and not without controversy, but Toronto is getting ready for this new chapter.
Starting today, there is a huge change in downtown Toronto's core, and I'm going to tell you what it is. That is the name change from Dundas Square to Sankofa Square. Today is the ceremony of the name change, so it's official. I'm going to perform there shortly. I'm going to tell you what Sankofa means because I think it's so important into acknowledging why this name change is so important. Sankofa is a word derived from the Akan language in Ghana. It means to go back and to get it. Why this is so important is because Henry Dundas, what Dundas Square is essentially named after, he had ties to the transatlantic slave trade and is one of the reasons why it took so long to abolish slavery. So by changing the name, we are taking steps forward in decolonizing spaces in the city as well as steps toward reconciliation, which is why the meaning, like to go back and to get it, it means like acknowledging the past and moving forward for a better future. I think it's important to share this knowledge because not everybody knows this, and because it might be inconvenience or confusion to change the name, it just has such a deeper meaning of why it's being changed and why it is such an exciting and historical moment in time. Okay, have a good day. Love you, miigwech.
Good morning, guys. It is early Saturday morning at Sankofa Square. Today's the celebration, the official kickoff and opening of the name change of Yonge and Dundas. And we're going to be out here. So the truck is here. Things are still just kind of getting going. We're waiting for the road closures, but this is a celebration you do not want to miss. Everybody and anybody who's anybody will be here in Toronto. Guys, it's a full lineup of some of Canada's and Toronto's best. So make sure you are here. It kicks off at about 11 a.m. and it's going straight till pretty late. So if you need something to do, today the weather's going to be perfect. It's going to be comfortable. The Zuzu Media House truck will be up and open. We got fresh new stock, a lot of new books, so you want to come and check that out as well. All right, guys, here's the early exercise. Hopefully you can see it. It's a little blurred out there, but everyone's getting their early exercise. I believe they're going to be running soon. So, see you today.
Let me tell you something about name changes, all right? I grew up in a city called Mumbai. That's what everyone called it when I was growing up. My parents grew up in the very same city. They were born in the same city. They grew up in the same city. But they called it Bombay. It was Bombay when they were growing up. I call it Mumbai, and now everyone around the world calls it Mumbai. What you're going to understand with name changes for places is it's not for us. It's for the next generation. Especially in a city, in a mega city like this, in Toronto, there's new people coming every single year. There's young people moving here from other provinces, from the suburbs, wherever. There's immigrants coming in like me from all over the world. They will call a place based on what they see on Google Maps. That's it. If it says that on Google Maps, that's the name they will use. And over time, the old names will die. They'll fade away into memory. Some old people will remember, but it'll get increasingly embarrassing over time when there's a fresh batch of 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds arriving for college and they keep using Sankofa Square. And the people who like it will keep using Sankofa Square. And every year, the old names will keep fading away. That's how it works.
Yeah, I have phone here for Yamama Kwaba. Sankofa Radio Toronto. Your Toronto downtown. Na nkomoni nyina ne se enne dwumadie sonku bi ekoso ha. Oba Canada Toronto no ama downtown dia na nko ama Canada kra anka eye. Kye se enne Canada ban atena ase. Na wahu Ghana for madembo a yebo no ewo Canada ha. Nti a whole square ewo downtown ha. Yede Ghana din na eto so. Yede akan din na eto so. Edin ne yeden Sankofa Square. Enya nwanwa Sankofa Radio Toronto. Yenya Sankofa Square. Ghana phone penifo bebre ewa ha. Me no ka say eye Deputy Minister for Foreign Affairs. Eye Mr. James Jechikwesen, MP for Asen North owa ha. Sa enso na Deputy Minister for Tourism, Culture and Arts. Eye Abla Jifa Gomashi. MP for Ketu South ono so ewa ha. Yewa ahemfo bebre ewa ha. Atitru ne ani ntiri bebre ewa ha. Enu nti na Sankofa Radio Toronto yade ye cameras no aduru ha no se de da bia ye hye obo no dwumadie ne de enyu mfrim ba bia bekoso wo Canada bonti so bia no ye de bepie amo ahwe nti wo ye video antempa na wa like no wa share na wa subscribe enen so ye wo downtown Toronto ni nyina ne se yade biaye bi ato oman Ghana yankasa ye krom kasa asantidin ewo Toronto ha ye ba be paw eho entoma mpenifo bebre Canada ban mu mpenifo bebre wa ha ye be ye interviews no am.
All right, guys. I know it's quite a lot, and especially based on the conversation. With all I have seen here today, with all I have heard today, based on how the name of a place in the city of Toronto, Canada was changed to Ghana, based on the history and everything we have heard and listened to today, especially the ones that were spoken in the Ghana Twi language. All I can say is that my love for the motherland Ghana has grown from 90% to 99.9. The one that will make it 100% is just waiting for me to definitely storm the motherland Ghana to experience everything that I have long overdue, been seeing, been hearing about the country. Exactly. And if I tell you how deeply rooted my love keep growing for this country, see the way the ladies are intellectually conversing about the culture, the roots of what it is to raise a child or to be raised in Ghana, liking to the Europe, right? And the event that went down in Canada, Toronto, was the highlight for me. I couldn't believe how the Ghanaian kente, the attire, the music, the regalia, the display was really put together in Canada. Oh my God. Guys, I'm overwhelmed. I am overwhelmed. I'm not capping. Like, God bear me witness. I love everything about this country called Ghana as much as I love other countries in Africa, right? But Ghana has stolen my heart, has taken a very deep place in my heart that I don't know. Absolutely nothing, I think, at this point can take that away from me. Hey, God, pray for me and wish me well, ladies and gentlemen, that by the special grace of God, come this year, whether by lightning, by thunder and brimstone, God will lead me to safely to this land of Ghana. And I love how you guys carry your pride, carry your culture with pride everywhere you go. Not to dominate, or just to display. Unlike Nigeria that goes to dominate. See, Ghana is recognized globally for their identity because of whom they are and what they stand to represent. You will never hear any country come out online to say Ghanaians are taking over, Ghanaians are, dominating, they are oppressing. It's not in the nature of Ghanaians, right? Even South Africans, I've never heard. Bring it on, where you will say they go out, they dominate, they oppress, they do this. No, they are peaceful, loving kind of people that everywhere they go, the peace exudes and covers for everything. Just like you're saying, guys, I don't want to talk plenty. As a Ghanaian, rep yourself in the comment section and tell me what part and region of Ghana you come from, what you like the most about your culture. For me, I am from the Ashanti region. Yeah, Asantewa. Yes, so exactly. From the Ashanti region. Oshe baddest. Exactly. Once again, thank you for watching and staying true. Leave your thoughts, like I said, down in the comments and give this video, for the sake of the fact that you are an African, it doesn't matter if you're not a Ghanaian, a huge and a massive thumbs up, even if you're South African. All my Saudis, I see you guys. I love you plenty. My love for you is deep also. Thank you, my Kenyans. In fact, every country in Africa, you are loved. I love each and every one of you. Let us learn as Nigerians to embrace peace and live in peace, shunning crime, corruption, and evil that is, separating us from our beloved other countries in Africa. Exactly. So that we can live peacefully and learn anything from all these countries and reign supreme. Thank you once again for watching, and I'm going to see you in my next one. For all your love on the comments, for my mom's video, I am my mom's video. I am talking to her. I'm sending all the messages to her. She's reading and she's watching and she's very happy. She says, thank you, Medase. Medase, thank you, each and every one of you, for the super thanks. I am grateful. God bless each and every one of you. And with that, I will say we've come to the end of this episode. Keeping it real, happy, safe, and blessed. I will see you in my next one. Ciao, ciao.